Hi, I'm Kesenya and welcome to Guiding Star Astrology. I'm your Astro Weather Girl, here with this week's Astro Weather Report. I'm going to show you how the stars are going to affect your life this week. In my videos, I use both Vedic and traditional Western techniques with tropical astrology, not sidereal astrology. I also use the traditional system of whole sign astrology for my analysis. You can use this video to the best of your advantage by listening to the introduction to understand what the week holds for you, and then going to the timestamps for your sun, moon, and rising sign to get a more personalized forecast for the week ahead. Astrology is not designed to scare you. It's designed to give you information so that you know what the good and the challenging energies in the week ahead will be, and you can therefore consciously work with them to the best of your advantage. Remember, knowledge is power. Now, there are scammers about, and so if you should receive a message from me on any platform requesting your money for a reading, know that it is a scam. Report them immediately. And now settle in and let's see what the astral skies have in store for the week ahead. Hello everybody and welcome to this week's Astro Weather Report. We're going to explore what the skies have in store for us for the week of the 10th of December through to the 17th of December. Already halfway through December. Isn't it unbelievable? So don't forget to like, share and subscribe to this channel and leave a comment to tell me that you've done so. So you can go into the draw to win, if for December, a reading, I'll phrase that a different way, to go into the December draw to win a solar return report from Guiding Star Astrology. I've had so much good feedback about these solar return reports. You're going to love it. So don't forget to enter the competition. You've got to be in it to win it, as they say. So let's look at this week's Astro Weather. Got my little marker here, but we're not going to need this marker for the first energetic influence that's happening this week. And there's not a lot going on this week, I'll be honest with you. But my little marker can point to you to Venus in Capricorn down here. This is happening. Venus is moving into Capricorn on the 10th of December. That's today if you're watching this video on YouTube when this video goes up. But Venus is going to be in the sign of Capricorn from the 10th of December through to the 3rd of January. So that's almost a month of the influence of Venus in Capricorn. And this is what I'm going to be talking about for the All Signs Breakdown. What can we expect with Venus transiting Capricorn for us personally in our charts? Now, Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. And the good news is that in Vedic astrology, Saturn is a friend to Venus. So while we might initially think that Venus in Capricorn is a difficult placement, actually the results of this transit can usually end up being very pleasing, and they will tend to last for the long term because Capricorn and Saturn are enduring results. They represent things that last and are stable for an extended period of time. So Venus being here in a friend's sign and the sign of longevity can bring things that please us for the long term. So with Venus in Capricorn, we usually want loyalty in our relationships. We want beauty in all our structures, things like architecture, landscape design, furniture, clothing even as well. We want beauty and longevity, classic style when Venus is in Capricorn. We want classic stylish pleasures as well, not sort of bogan style experiences, if you know what that means. In Australia, that's a term we use for, I don't know, you might term it redneck in other parts of the world or something. We want upper class kind of delights and pleasures, going to a concert or eating at a fine restaurant, that sort of thing. Some of us might even find while Venus moves through Capricorn, a new love, not of the romantic kind, although there are some signs that will be more prone to that now with Venus in Capricorn than others. I'll talk about that for the All Signs Breakdown. But some of us might even find a new love of work. Capricorn is work. Capricorn is duty. Capricorn is responsibility. And so we might find a new love of those things in our life. They might become sort of our source of joy and delight even. I have very strong Saturn-Venus combination in my chart that does give me a love of work, and it does make me something of a workaholic along with a few other placements that I have. But those of you who do not have a prominent Venus-Saturn connection in your chart, you might now feel a love of work and duty and responsibility that you might otherwise not experience. This will be while Venus transits the sign of Capricorn. But whatever manifests now, whatever arrives in our life with regard to love, with regard to beauty, with regard to finances, it's going to tend to be with us for the long term. So what it's calling us to do is make our lives as beautiful as they can be in every way that we can, so that that beauty lasts with us for the long term. So from January 10 through, what was the date I gave? December 10 through to January the 3rd. Create as much beauty and pleasure and joy in your life as you are capable of doing in any given moment. And that means that those feelings of delight and pleasure and connection and joy will go with you for the long term. Venus in Capricorn. Then on the 15th of December, we have a Sun square to Neptune. So the Sun, Neptune's in Pisces, not Taurus. So the Sun is at the final degrees of Sagittarius, making a very awkward little square there that I've drawn for you to Neptune at the latter degrees of Pisces as well. So do you dig spirituality? Is that your thing? Is that your bag, baby? Do you get a boost of joy from being creative? Well, if you answered yes to those questions, then this day, when we have this square, usually a difficult aspect, this day can actually bring those things to the fore in a very powerful way for you, because the Sun is creative and Neptune in Pisces is creative as well. The Sun is joy, and Neptune in Pisces is joy from creativity when it's connecting with the Sun like this. So that's how you can work with this energy to the best of your advantage, by being creative and getting joy out of your own creativity. But it is a square aspect, as you can see, and we know that square aspects usually bring a lot of tension and friction and often challenges into our lives. So for many people, this will be a difficult energy that could see results like us losing our usual vitality and we're just craving a nana nap in the afternoon to get through the day. But what's wrong with that every now and again? Look, this aspect only forms twice a year. So if we need a day where we just, take it easy, have a pajama day, sleep in or whatever, what's wrong with that? Twice a year, seriously. If our vitality is a bit sort of lackluster, if our legs feel like lead and we can't be bothered going for the 5K run we usually go for, what's wrong with that? If that's the worst that this energy brings, then that's okay. But the real energy to be aware of is the potential to be deceived from a male figure or even an authority figure, someone in influence over you. That is worth noting as well. So, have a healthy level of skepticism about, interactions with various people that you will undertake on and around this day, the 15th. You might like to include the 14th to the 16th in that as well. There could be an absent-mindedness that is expressing in you as well. It could give you the Homer Simpson dose, when something goes wrong and like, why didn't I notice that? Why didn't I see that? It's just the Neptune Sun energy. There's also potentially a need to escape from the bluntness of modern life. And depending on the nature that you have, naturally, some people might go to extreme practices to detach. Too much drinking, too much food, too much drugs, too much sex, too much exercise. Even if your vitality is low, you may be having too much exercise, or too much social media. And whatever it is going to leave you depleted in the end, not rejuvenated, not energized, okay? So if you do find, like I do frequently, especially lately, that you need to escape from the harshness of modern life, find a healthy way to do it. Put on some records, pour yourself whatever beverage that you find is delightful. I like a cup of tea. I'm a bit old school. And just sort of stare out the window at the fluffy clouds in the sky. If that's what I do when I need to sort of detach for a bit. But you might have other methods: soaking in the bath, going for a walk in a beautiful garden. Like I said, having a nana nap. Whatever you do that can help you escape into loveliness and peace, take that road. That's your best course of coping with this perhaps feeling that you need to get away from the harshness of life. So that's my suggestions for the Sun square to Neptune, which is, as I said, going to be on the 15th exact, but you can include the 14th and the 16th in that as well. Now we're going to move to our all signs breakdown. I'm going to be exploring in this, let me give you an example. Let's get Capricorn, because we're going to start with Capricorn. We're going to be exploring Venus through the sign of Capricorn and what that means, okay? Now this is my example, and then we will move into the all signs breakdown. So Venus, when she is in the sign of Capricorn, she is the ruler of 2 other houses. She's the ruler of the 10th house Libra and the ruler of the 5th house Taurus. So what I'm going to be exploring in this all signs breakdown is what influence are we going to be under for the next month, in the case of the example here, Capricorn, from the 10th house Lord being in the 1st. And then for my Patreon family, and all my viewers on Patreon who want an extended all signs breakdown, I'm going to be talking about the other house that Venus rules, which in this example happens to be the 5th house Lord in the 1st, and what influences that will bring out in our lives. So basically here on YouTube, if that's where you're watching, if you're watching through YouTube, you're going to get one of the houses Venus rules and its interpretation when it's in the sign of Capricorn to explain to you what's going on. My Patreon family, my members at my Patreon page, will be getting double the influence, double the assessment for what might unfold. Okay, so if you would like to join Patreon, my Patreon family, head over to the link, it's in the description below, and join up for as long as you like. You know, could be for a month, could be for a year, whatever suits you, and come and join our beautiful connected family of astrology lovers over there on Patreon. And this is our specialty video for the month. My apologies to my Patreon family that I am actually postponing our the look at the part of fortune through each sign of the horoscope. I'm postponing that video, which I promised you, until next month. And the reason I'm doing that is that I am just in a state of very heavy grief at the moment through that I'm trying to move through. And I can't cope with doing 2 rather extensive videos this week. So my humble apologies to everyone who is looking forward to that part of fortune through the signs video. That will be coming up in next month's series. I love you, my Patreon family, and I hope you actually enjoy this extra bonus astrological forecast video instead. So it's going to be a big one, a couple of probably 2 hours long, I imagine, before I even start. So you might want to jump over there to get the real deal, the full deal of what's going on for you with Venus in Capricorn. All right, so now that I've explained how this is working, let's make a start with our Capricorn sign. This is the 10th of December to the 3rd of January. Now, as you can see, we have the 10th house Lord, Venus, ruling Libra, sitting in Capricorn, which if you have Capricorn as your rising sign, is the 1st house. And you can also include your sun and your moon sign as well for this. Now, this is a really great combination, Capricorn friends. It's what is known when we have in the natal chart, when we have the 10th house Lord in the 1st, it's known as a Raj Yoga, which means royal union of planets. So it brings together an inspiration house and an action house. The 1st house is the action house, the 10th house is the inspiration house, a karma and a dharma house as well. And so we're coming together with inspiration and action. You can achieve a lot this month while Venus transits through your 1st house. It is a month where you're going to be strongly associated with your career, and you'll probably be very recognized for your career in some way. So whether, you get a big pat on the back from the boss or something, or your career has a bit of a rocket launch into some better circumstances, or it might be that you get a promotion or a pay rise or something like that. But there's some sort of recognition that's going to occur because of your 10th house Lord moving through in a good sign for it, the 1st house. Now, career and worldly achievement is so important for you, my Capricorn friends, this month. And we know that generally speaking for Capricorn people, it is an important part of their life path as well, because Capricorn is an energy very focused on achievement. So this is going to really fuel, like rocket fuel for you. It's going to fuel your success in the world, your desire to achieve in the world as you go forward. So it's bringing that strong association of career and public recognition more in alignment with your path. Public opinion is also seen by the 10th house, and public opinion might influence your actions now and what you choose to do. So you might be thinking, well, how is this going to be received by everybody out there in the world? What are they going to think of me if I take this action, if I do this particular thing or whatever? And so you're going to be strongly affected by your perception of what is going to affect your reputation, your social standing. So keep that in mind. You'll be sort of probably thinking a lot about how is this going to affect my reputation if I apply for this job, or if I go to this place for a holiday, or if I hang out with this person. How is my reputation and social standing going to be affected? Because public influence is very much tapping into that area of your life. You will be feeling very self-identified, Capricorn friends, wanting to do something that causes you to be recognized and remembered by the world, in some way. So it's a month for building your legacy, building your reputation, as I've just said, and becoming known. Now, Capricorn, your physical appearance is going to be very important for career success this month. So do put some effort in. I know you already do, but do make sure that you put effort into your appearance, your hairstyle, your clothing, because it will propel you forward in career if you do so. Also, your personality is very important for career success this month. So I'm not saying to fake it, but try and put your best self forward when you are in a career environment, because people will notice and people will appreciate your charisma and your personality this month, and you can actually find that it helps you take strides forward in career as well. Your identity this month is going to be very strongly associated also with leadership roles. So you might find that you are given more leadership roles, more opportunities to be active out there in the world in some way, sort of heading things up or organizing something or structuring something might be a big part of what this month holds for you. So lots of leadership opportunities and the chance for you to be something of an iconic figure as well. You will have quite a high visibility this month. Now, you might not be, ordinarily inclined to having a high visible role, but I'm not meaning that you're going to be, plastered all over CNN or Fox News or something. It's probably more that you will have a visible role in your community, in your society, or in your social group or something. You are going to be very visible and very active. And look, let's face it, it's Christmas season, so we tend to do that. You might be Santa, dressed as Santa, handing out the presents to everybody at a community Christmas party or something like that. High visibility in some kind of leadership role, if you could call Santa a leader. But I do see that this will be a month where you will be initiating new beginnings, and you certainly have the power and the professionalism to initiate new beginnings in your life, whether they're to do with career or whether they're just to do with your own personal trajectory in some way, Capricorn. The first house is connected to confidence, and you're going to be somebody this month, whether you realize it or not, to inspire confidence in other people through your leadership abilities. This month, more than ever, Capricorn, you have the ability to draw people to you, for other people to be willing now to follow you. So quite exciting in that regard. Lots of, you might ordinarily have confidence up in front of a crowd in some way. I'm not talking about performing either. I'm talking about getting up there and sort of directing and structuring and organizing. But this is the month for utilizing that, doing that. And it can come through or bubble up in you in a way like you haven't experienced before, or that you don't experience for the rest of the year. You can be a trendsetter in some manner, Capricorn. You might, I wouldn't say this is a position to initiate starting a blog or YouTube tutorials or something like that, but I would say that if you are running anything like that, which is about being an influencer and being, very visible in the public eye already, then you're really going to get some inspirational on-trend ideas. Your finger will be on the pulse with what you're sharing. Because of this combination. And look, this is an influence where the energy of the father, the house of the father, comes into your personal sphere. So it could be that, wealth from the father comes to support you on your journey. Now, I'm not saying the father dies and leaves you an inheritance. That's not what this combination is actually all about. What it is that your father, your dad might just, or a male figure, of authority in your life might decide to back you. You want to start a new venture, or you want to get some support for something. Well, it could be that this is the month that your father steps up to the plate and says, hey, I'm going to back you, I'm going to support you, or I'm here to give you moral support, or I'm going to come in and wash dishes in your new restaurant for a month just to get you going and on your feet. Something like that. There's support, prosperity, could be like literal wealth or something like that comes from your father to support you on your life journey. And you're really going to delight in that, Capricorn. You're going to delight also in creating a legacy and creating worldly achievements this month. Venus will bring a lot of delight and pleasure and joy into doing that sort of thing, and you will feel that very personally yourself. So now, my beautiful Capricorn friends, I'm going to switch over for my Patreons to talk about the 5th house Lord down here. Venus rules Taurus in the 1st, and what that means for my Patreon followers. For everybody else on YouTube, we're going to jump now to our next sign. Aquarius, beautiful Aquarius, either rising or sun or moon people. You can look at either, and I encourage you to look at all of those placements in this reading. For our Aquarius rising, when we have Aquarius rising, sun or moon, that means that Venus is the ruler of our, the 9th house here and the 4th house. So what we're going to be looking at here is the 9th house Lord in the 12th for my YouTube family. And if you're a Patreon member, you're also going to get a bonus analysis of the 4th house Lord being in the 12th, because here is Venus transiting through your 12th house in whole sign astrology, Capricorn. So let's make a start. 9th house Lord in the 12th for YouTube. Well, the 9th house speaks to our Dharma, which is our purpose and meaning in life. And when we are experiencing this by transit, it's a very spiritual combination, and we get an energy of spiritualism being a part of our purpose and giving us a bit more meaning. So you're going to feel that your spiritual connection, your spiritual understandings are going to be very meaningful for you this month, my Aquarius friends. Also, it is an indication that you might be exploring some rather unorthodox belief systems as well. 9th house is usually our belief systems, and in the 12th house, 9th house Lord in the 12th house means unorthodox belief systems. So looking into mysticism and mystical beliefs, spiritual beliefs, rather than traditional structured types of beliefs might be on the cards for you this month while Venus travels through Capricorn. Many spiritual blessings can come to you with this combination. You can actually have direct experiences of God, Aquarius friends. Very mystical experiences of the divine are on the cards for you this month. So what are those sorts of things? Well, psychic impressions, or connection with other astral beings or beings, divine beings, and getting messages from the divine, maybe in your dreams and that sort of thing. Feeling, those goosebump moments when you just like, I feel the spirit is with me, or I'm being inspired here by something that's beyond me. Those sorts of things. There might be also, for many of you Aquarian people, the opportunity to undertake some higher level spiritual studies of some sort. And of course, you might be exploring psychic behavior, esoteric lore, mysticism of all sorts. And astrology can also be one of those things that you might be looking to explore and learn about. You might like to do the Royal Stars Academy with me. But there's also some deep research and teaching about spiritual matters that becomes available to you. So if you're inclined as a teacher, you might be sharing the knowledge, the information, the wisdom, 9th house, with other people about spiritual things, 12th house. So that's what we mean by that. So the opportunity for you to study and learn more, and the opportunity for you to share and teach and research more yourself. Now, some of you might be sharing and teaching in places that are quite secluded, because the 9th house is to share information and teach information. You're up here and your students are down here, kind of thing. 3rd house is like, we're all in this together, kind of like, let's just share our perspectives and our, what happened for you, or this happened for me, blah, 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 workshopy kind of stuff. This 9th house is much more hierarchical in that sense, where there's a teacher and students. So you might be the one teaching in a faraway place, a place of escape, a place of holiday, a place of retreat. So it need not be that, hey, you're teaching spiritual stuff. It might be that you go to a holiday resort to I don't know, teach yoga or something like that, or to teach outward bound exercises, outward bound, what are they, sort of like, whitewater rafting, or, scuba diving or something like that. Just things that you have a higher knowledge in how to do, a higher understanding in how to do, and you're sharing them at a place of retreat or place of escape. But it can also be something spiritual, things like an ashram or a stupa or a church that you might be sharing wisdom and knowledge and spiritual insights in. Or it could be to people who are isolated from society through other means, like you might be sharing high-level wisdom with prisoners in a prison or people in a hospital in some way. So there is this combination of high-level knowledge going to people in isolated kind of places, or places where it's not part of mainstream life. There's also going to be the capacity for many Aquarian people to channel divine wisdom into creative pursuits like film, photography, dance, music, poetry, publishing, things like that. So if you're working in those fields or you want to get involved in those fields, this is a great energy for the next month while Venus is in Capricorn to really invest in those things, putting that work that you do, that creative work that you do out there into the world, because the blessing of the 9th house is on 12th house things. And so you might be blessed through your photography that you do, or the dance that you express, or the music that you write or something. So quite powerful in that sense. The 12th house, though, represents where we dissolve something, where we get rid of something. So for some people, some Aquarius rising sun and moon people, you might be dissolving a belief system now. Traditional religions might be being dissolved in your life in favor of direct or mystical experiences of God. You will prefer this month, at least, maybe not all the time, but this month you're probably going to be quite intrigued and drawn to the mystical and the esoteric over the religious and, traditional dogmatic kind of stuff. So what we might see is that energy gets dissolved for you in some way. This placement actually deepens our intuitive communication with the divine, as I've already alluded to. So direct communication with the divine can unfold. And this might be giving you the ability to channel, to receive predictions for the future, to get messages from the divine in dreams or in meditative states, as I've already mentioned. You can be very fortunate. Blessing from the 9th house comes into the house of faraway countries. You can be, quite blessed with, investing in faraway countries or traveling to faraway countries. Luck and fortune can also come through places that are far away. You might get an influx of clients from another country or something like that brings blessing into your life, or, in some way, shape or form, blessing is connected to faraway foreign places or other cultures for you. Blessing can come through big overseas journeys as well. This is also the house of past lives. So through an overseas journey, you might be drawn back to a place over the next month. If you are planning an overseas journey, you might be drawn back to a place that you were lived in a past life, or that was important to you in a past life. You might not be aware of this, but you might go to that place and just get goosebumps and be like, I don't know why, I just feel this place feels so familiar to me. Deja vu kind of stuff can be very on the cards during this particular transit of Venus through your 12th house, if you are an Aquarius rising or sun or moon person, particularly Aquarius rising for that one. Like I said, it's the house of past lives, so your past life karma, 12th house, can bring you blessing and luck, 9th house, in this next month while Venus travels through Capricorn. So it could be your lucky month in that sense. So now for my Patreon family, I am going to be exploring the other house that Venus rules for Aquarius, and that is the 4th house. And what does it mean when the 4th house Lord is up here in the 12th house? So if you're a Patreon member, you're going to get all the juicy lowdown on that one. If you're on YouTube, we're going to move now to the next sign. Pisces. Pisces rising, Pisces sun, Pisces moon. We are looking this week at the placement of Venus, or Venus traveling through Capricorn from the 10th of December to the 3rd of January. And in a Pisces chart, Venus happens to rule the 8th house and the 3rd house. She's rather a difficult planet for Pisces people, I have to say. So we're going to begin for YouTube, my YouTube audience, we're going to be looking at the 8th house Lord affecting the 11th house and what that might mean for you in the next month. Then for my Patreon family, they're going to get an analysis of the 3rd house Lord in the 11th house as well. So when we have the 8th house Lord in the 11th, well, the 11th house is our friends and our social networks. So crisis and 8th house things, that crisis is an 8th house thing, and sudden attacks on you can come from friends, can come from large groups of people. Secret information can be exposed to you, because secret information is an 8th house thing, can be exposed to you by your friends. Your friends might fill you in on something, hidden, something secret, something a bit taboo. Or that you might be the one gossiping about your friends for some reason, sharing sort of secret information about your friends. Okay, so this can obviously cause some disruption to your friendship circles. So that might be on the cards as well, Pisces. It is an indication, not always, but it can be the loss of a friend. And look, this is, quite frankly, I've lost a friend in the lead up to this Venus through Capricorn. And I know that when Venus, this is our intensity, the intense feelings that we have. I know that when Venus goes into Capricorn, for me as a Pisces rising person, I am going to feel that intensity, 8th house intensity, so much more as I deal with the grief and the loss of my friend. 8th house is the loss and the grief of losing a friend in the house of friendship. So yeah, feeling it in a very strong way, and can cause actually big influential disruptions to the course of your life and the trajectory of your life in a way you may not have realized. This is the house of transformation and the house of friendship as well. So loss of a friend might be influencing you in a very strong way and cause big transformations in your life too. Your friendships and your social circle can also be a catalyst for the most transformations in your life this month. And because this is also the medicine, the antidote to the trauma of, transformations of your friendship circles, because let's face it, when we lose connection with friendships, it's quite heartbreaking. The antidote to this trauma is being with your friends, being, your circle of friends can be a very healing force in your life, because 8th house is the trauma, but it's also the antidote. So when the 8th house Lord is in the 11th, the trauma is loss of friends or trouble with friends or conflicts with friends or crisis with friends. But being with friends and connecting with others, particularly over something deep and moving and quite intimate, can also be the antidote and the medicine and the healing force. The wound and the medicine is both in the 8th house. So many of you might be in the process of changing your friendship group in some way now, and this has probably been going on maybe for a week or two, but the climax or the real build-up is likely to unfold this week. Now also business gains will be connected to hidden money here. 11th house is business gains. So they can be connected to hidden money in secret organizations, in some way secret investments. And you can make big money if you've got things set up in some sort of secret, transactional, or something that's not open to everybody, something that's very, you do that you don't tell everybody about, that makes you money. Also, mutual finances are seen through the 8th house. So mutual finances in any kind of partnership, business or marriage or whatever, can be very gainful for you for the next month while Venus moves through Capricorn too. This is a placement for having unexpected sources suddenly giving you gains. And particularly because Venus is the planet we're looking at here, young women might be the source of unexpected gains and gainfulness in your life. Because the 8th house is unexpected, the 11th house is gains, and it's Venus, women. So unexpected gains coming through women can be one of these expressions. Your physical life inheritances, which are 8th house, can also come through friendships and organizations, or you might get some sort of inheritance or blessing from a not-for-profit organization or some sort of humanitarian organization. I'm not quite sure how that might work, but if you have had connections with a not-for-profit or a humanitarian organization, that can definitely be the case, that it comes back to bless you while Venus transits through Capricorn. There's also an ability to influence large groups of people that you'll have this month. You might be an agent for social transformation for a large group of people. Like, I don't know, I might say something online. I'm a Pisces rising. I might say something online on the internet, and it transforms society for the better in some way and in some capacity over the next month. Now, the 8th house, crisis situations They will happen, but they're going to transform your life in a beneficial way. So don't lose hope and say, oh my God, I'm in for a crisis. No. The 8th house Lord is always somewhere in the chart affecting something, so don't panic. But whatever happens, this is the beneficial house. This is one of the blessing houses, the 11th house. So crisis that comes can actually turn out to be a huge source of blessing for you. And even if you find that the crisis means that some sort of profit or gainfulness is destroyed through a crisis circumstance or something, it's going to be rebuilt powerfully. This is the house of, the phoenix rising out of the ashes. If your gains are destroyed, you're going to rise up and be better off than you were before. So don't fret too much if there is some sort of crisis to your gainfulness or crisis to your friendship circles, because it can be rebuilt, and the new friendships you gain can be better than you had before, and your earning capacity and your business transactions can be better than you've had before after this process. The 11th house rules our fans and our followers, so they can also bring recovery and transformation to you in some way, some sort of kindness to you if you're going through a crisis or a difficulty. The 11th house is also the house of the older siblings. So older siblings, if you've got an older sibling, you might notice that they are being regenerated in some way for the month of 10th of December to 3rd of January. They might be being renewed or regenerated or uplifted or, given a chance to transform themselves in some manner. Maybe your older brother, went through a terrible breakup at the beginning of the year, but then in the period of time when Venus is in Capricorn, he meets somebody new and it renews him. So that kind of thing. The other way that it can express with our friendships is that you might find that during this month your friends are very private or secretive, or you might have friendships that you need to keep secret or keep quiet for some reason, or you might join with people or find friendship with people who are very keen on private information, like a love for astrology or a love for tarot, a love for heretic philosophies or something like that, which are all 8th house based things. So there can be a connection and friendships formed over 8th house topics. Finally, for my YouTube family, profits from illegal activities, tax manipulation can unfold for the people who have got their fingers in those pies. Hopefully not too many of my YouTube followers, but there can also be big gains, 11th house for you, from secrets, from discoveries, and from research, which are 8th house things. So wow, quite an exciting and potential-filled month ahead for our Pisces rising friends. Now, Pisces, we're going to move for the Patreon family members. They're going to get the breakdown of the 3rd house Lord in the 11th and what that will also mean for you in the month ahead. And for my YouTube followers, we're going to now move to the next sign. Okay, so Aries rising, Aries sun, Aries moon people. Well, we're looking at Venus's transit through Capricorn, and that for you happens to be your 10th house, Aries. But Venus is the ruler of your 7th house as well as the ruler of your 2nd house, Aries. So I'm going to be breaking down what it means to have the 7th house ruler moving through the 10th house over the next month for you on YouTube. For my Patreon family, I'm going to add to that by talking about the 2nd house ruler moving through the 10th house and what that might mean as well. So the 7th house Lord in the 10th, well, this is really excellent for career. It means that your partners, that can be marriage partners or business partners, they're really going to help you develop your career this year, or this month, I should say. Higher goals for career, and they're going to support your endeavors. They can help you achieve a higher ranking status too. So they might increase your reputation. So something that your partner does for you or some way they support you helps you achieve more and succeed more in the world. You could also gain greater visibility and renown through your partner as well, my precious Aries friends. So your partner might do something and become, sort of famous or well known or popular or something, and that reflects on you very well, because this is the partner in the 10th house of their reputation, their career. So they can help you achieve sort of more notoriety by gaining in notoriety themselves. So you can gain greater visibility and greater renown through your partner. And your partner might actually receive some sort of higher ranking positions, could be in trade or counseling or negotiations, or they could receive a higher ranking position through their ability to relate to other clients that they have. All seventh house activities would be seen through this combination. So, your partner could be doing very well with their social interactions and their connections and their clients, and that's going to reflect very well on you and bring more benefits into your life. One thing that's interesting, though, Aries, is that Libra, which Venus rules, when we count 4 places, 1, 2, 3, 4 from Libra, we get to the 10th house where Venus is currently going to be transiting. And so this can reveal that for the next month, your partner might be very invested in developing family traditions or establishing family traditions of some sort, or very involved in some sort of patriotism or guardianship. They could be very involved in some sort of real estate activity or property development. They might be very keen on getting involved in hospitality at this time, and it is Christmas and New Year and everything as well for the next month, so that's probably stands to reason that would be the case. But your partner is going to be invested in doing that, as well as you possibly as well. So there can be an improvement in your negotiating skills because of this combination playing out for you over the next month. So that can actually lead to greater sources of achievement for you as well. What it is like the 10th house. Yes, so this is the 10th house where Venus is currently transiting, but when we count 10 houses from the 10th, we get to Libra. So it's like a double whammy of the 10th house effect now. So great career growth potential and great career potential and achievement potential. So that can bode very well for you. In the next month, my beautiful Aries friends. So your partners might achieve a great deal of social status or prestige, as we said. They could get an opportunity to be a boss or to step up into the world in some sort of authoritative position as well. They might have a good deal of authority within the context of your relationship for this month too. They might be wearing the pants this month for some reason or another. You might have a lot of respect for this person for some reason over the next month and the role that they play in your life. So if you are in a relationship, there could be a deepening of love for your partner because of this combination. They might do something to, invoke that in you, or you might just feel it strongly. If it's a business partner that we're talking about, you are likely to really respect their decisions or the way they're approaching something and really appreciate what they're doing for your business in some way. So now, my Aries friends, I'm going to move into, for my Patreon family, talking about the second house Lord and what it means as it transits through the 10th house for the next month. And for my YouTube family, well, we're going to jump to the next sign. Taurus rising, Taurus sun, Taurus moon people. We're looking today at the journey for the next month from the 10th of December through to the 3rd of January of Venus through Capricorn. Now, I'm going to be talking now, my Taurus friends, about what it means to have Venus as the ruler of your sign, the first house, moving through the 9th house. But also for my Patreon family, I'm going to be talking about Venus as the ruler of the 6th house, moving through the 9th as well. And these are quite contradictory energies. So my Patreon family, you're going to get the breakdown of just exactly what's going on really for you in the next month. When we talk about the 6th house Lord in the 9th. But for our YouTube family, let's get cracking and talk about the first house Lord in the 9th. Well, this is a combination for being connected to higher minded matters and philosophy. So it's really going to be strong for you until the January the 3rd, that you're really going to want to and probably be quite capable of communicating with the divine in some way. You might even feel that you have something of a mission in the world to share higher knowledge, or even if it's just to see things from a higher perspective. You're going to want the big picture view over the next month and not just, keep it insular. You're going to want to be like, well, what does this mean for humanity and for the world and, more global perspective. You might also have, my beautiful Taurus friends, an opportunity to be something of an inspirational figure. Now, that doesn't mean standing up there and being a representative of the UN, or if you consider that to be inspiring. But more so, it might be that you do something that inspires others. Like maybe you invite some homeless people to come and share Christmas lunch with you, and your family look at what you're doing and they're like, my God, you're a legend, mum and dad. well done for doing this. I want to be just like you when I grow up. You're an inspiration to me through your compassion or whatever. So you're going to have some sort of opportunity. Take it, run with it to be an inspirational figure, because you're going to, or do something very inspirational, because, you never know whose life you're affecting, or who you're uplifting through doing something of compassion and something inspiring of that nature. Now, this is an energy really for you being able to see the big picture, because this is you in the house of the big picture. So this month, my beautiful Taurians, you're going to have some high-level knowledge. You might even find that other people come to you for teaching and wisdom, come to you for insights, not just in a spiritual sense, that can be the case, but in practical realms too. They might come to you for business advice or investment advice, especially because it's Venus who rules money and investment here in the 9th house. So people might be looking to you for your wisdom and your instruction about how to invest well with money. People might be just generally looking up to you right now and really admiring you. Isn't that nice? So some of you beautiful Taurian people might be traveling and spending time in other countries, because this is you going to other cultures here. If you do, I feel that it's going to be very beautiful. Venus, you'll have a lovely time. It'll be pleasurable. It'll be something, maybe you might even have quite a sensory experience, lots of things to see and touch and taste and smell, and just immerse yourself in other cultures. So that could be a lovely, lovely experience. Also, when we had the first house lord in the 9th, it can indicate that you'll be very self-identified for the next month with sort of ideologies or insights that you get or beliefs that you get. Now, it doesn't mean being stubborn about what you believe. It means that you are going to really, you'll probably get some epiphanies, some strong insights, and you will really align yourself with those insights, with those aha moments, those light bulb moments that come along. This is a prophetic house as well. So you might receive a prophetic message or an omen or a sign in some way, or you might be being very prophetic yourself, not in a mystical way, not in the 9th house, but in a more scientific way. How shall I describe that? I mean, probably the best example is Jules Verne, who wrote books that turned out to be very prophetic, even though at the time he was just, writing his fantasy and his imagination and, his scientific interest in, traveling under the sea in a submarine and, going to the center of the earth and stuff like that. So that's the kind of thing we're talking about. You mightn't even realize that you are being prophetic, because it's not coming channeled to you. It's more, your level of knowledge is allowing you to be very prophetic, because you've developed a high level of knowledge over time, perhaps. I want you to trust your intuitive insights this month, because this is a beautiful combination. First house lord in the house of blessing. So definitely you could be being blessed, and trust your gut, trust your hunches, trust your aha light bulb moments. They won't lead you astray while Venus is moving through Capricorn. Now, one other thing, my beautiful Taurus friends, this is a house connected to breaking away from lineage and tradition. And that's because here is, in Vedic astrology, lineage and tradition is seen from the 2nd house, and when we count 8 houses from there, we get to the 9th house. And so 8th house represents breaking away from something, transforming something, changing something. So what could happen for you this month is that it's not likely to be anything dramatic, but you might be restructuring your relationship with your lineage in some way, especially if your lineage is connected to faith and belief systems. So, you might have thought you will always believe, some certain thing, and then you have an experience in the next month that changes your belief system and helps you break away from that. Well, I always thought in my family that you should, I'm going to use an example that I always thought, that you should not get divorced. And lo and behold, there's a circumstance, maybe a close friend is getting divorced, and you're like, well, actually, I think she's doing the right thing, or he's doing the right thing. So you know what? I think my lineage or tradition of, Christian upbringing, you shouldn't get divorced, might actually be changing because of an experience that I've had during Venus moving through the 9th house. Hope that makes sense. All right, my YouTube friends, now it's time for me to move to my Patreon analysis of, what are we looking at here? The 6th house lord in the 9th, and what that's going to mean for our Taurus people. And for those on YouTube, we're going to jump now to the next sign. Gemini. Gemini rising, Gemini sun, Gemini moon. Well, for my Gemini people here on YouTube, we're looking at the transit of Venus through Capricorn for the next month, from the 10th of December to the 3rd of January. And in a Gemini chart, Venus is the ruler of the 12th house and also the ruler down here of the 5th house. So what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be talking about the 12th house lord and its effects when it sits by transit in the 8th house, which is quite a doozy of a combination. That's what I'm going to share for YouTube. And then for my Patreon family, they're going to get an added bonus where I'm going to break down the 5th house lord in the 8th house for them. So if you'd like to join the Patreon family, you're going to get the extended version of this reading. But let's start with the 12th house lord in the 8th. This is a malefic house, 12th house, a malefic house lord in a malefic house, 8th house. So therefore it counteracts any strong negativity. Whew, lucky for Gemini. The 12th house lord will dissolve the destructive influence of the 8th house, because the 8th house is a destructive energy. So that means less crisis, less upheaval, less intense change, less obsession, less jealousy. Yay! Good news for my Gemini friends. So things, might have felt like they're, going down the tube, but when Venus moves into Capricorn, you might feel like, oh, finally I can draw a breath of fresh air. Things feel a bit more aligned now. Good stuff. But invisible forces, 12th house, guardian angels, they have got your back this month in any life-threatening situations as Venus transits through the house of life-threatening situations. So you're going to be divinely protected. Yay, thank goodness. This is a placement for intense intuition as well. So your dreams could be just off the Richter scale, and you're likely to dream about 8th house matters, dreams about impending disasters, visions and warnings of upheavals to come. So do, my beautiful Gemini people, write down what you dream about and pay attention to it, because it's likely to be, could be very prophetic, okay? So just note that. So what's going on here is that the two houses representing secrets are connecting to one another. And so there might be sort of a finding out or an exposure of a sudden secret that's been held for a long time while Venus is transiting this house. It could come to light potentially, especially once the sun moves into Capricorn with Venus in the next in the few days after she moves in there. There can be illumination of a secret. You might be finding out answers, like I said, to secrets and mysteries, but that can also be, secrets and mysteries like, psychology and astrology. You could be incredibly intuitive about astrology for the next month, or incredibly intuitive about other 8th house matters like psychology or past lives or crisis situations or impending disasters, like I said. Now, the 12th house is prayer and meditation, astral travel, and the 8th house is hidden knowledge. So by immersing yourself in some sort of prayer or meditation or astral travel, it can lead you to an understanding of a secret hidden awareness or hidden knowledge. That's why I'm talking about past lives as well, which is often hidden from our consciousness, our conscious awareness in this incarnation. You can also get some answers for sudden healings as well. The spirits, 12th house, can give you answers that can induce sudden healing in your life, either in yourself or in others. So it's really good for people who have professions in trauma healing or doing regression work. It can be really good for spiritual counselors and advisors as well. And for those of us who don't work in those fields, can I encourage you, go and see a trauma healer if you need to. Go and do a past life regression this month while Venus is in Capricorn, because there's healing through that now. There's awareness and sudden illumination, like I've been describing, available to you for the next month as Venus transits through the 8th house. Now, the 8th house also represents a lot of changes. So you might be having a lot of disruption in your sleeping patterns. That could look like, a normal circumstance, like, you work in an emergency or a shift work situation. Or it could just mean that you're waking up a lot at night or something, or there could be disruptions to bed pleasures, because this is the 8th house is the house of disruption and 12th house is bed pleasures. So with the 12th house lord in the 8th house, disruptions to your sex life could be another indicator here. All right, my YouTube Gemini friends, we're going to jump to on YouTube the next sign, but for my Patreon family, we're going to move on now and talk about the 5th house lord being in the 8th house, which is really a fascinating combination. All right, thank you, Patreon friends. Now we're going to be looking at Cancer. Cancer rising, Cancer sun, Cancer moon people. Well, the energy, and we're going to need our little stopper. The energy of Venus moving through Capricorn is falling in your 7th house. So for those of you on YouTube, I'm now going to break down the 11th house lord, because Venus rules Taurus in the 11th house, the 11th house lord in the 7th house, and what it means. And then for those of you who are my Patreon followers, I'm going to extend this reading by talking about Venus as the ruler of the 4th house being in the 7th house for the next month. So if you want to find out about that, jump on over to the Patreon page. But let's start with our 11th house lord in the 7th house. This is where we can profit and achieve and gain. And for the next month, it's through marriage and collaborations and partnerships that you can be very gainful, my beautiful Cancer friends. So your mate or a business partner or a colleague of some sort or a client can bring more profit and gain into your life. You can also be gainful through contracts and agreements, because the 11th house is gainfulness in the house of connection and partnership and balance with others. So your life partner will be very profitable, or they mightn't be naturally very profitable, but this month they're going to do better than usual. So your life partner this month can be being more gainful, or they can be achieving more of their dreams, or striving more towards their goals, and achieving more in that direction. So it can be very, very good for your partner as well, Cancer, for your partner to have success in life and for their life to flourish. There's a lot of mentoring that occurs with this combination, actually. So you could be mentoring your partner, they could be mentoring you, and mutually very beneficial. You might even have, Cancer people, a mutual goal with a business partner, or with your marriage partner, or some sort of mutual social goal with a business partner or a marriage partner as well. You will do really well in collaborations for work and collaborations for business. So it's worth connecting and partnering with someone. Don't feel like you're an island and you have to go it alone. If you want high level gains for the next month, get a business partner in some realm, or hire an advertiser. That's a business collaboration or a contractual business agreement. Like, do that collaborative stuff this month, because it's going to be like the ball is in your court for that sort of thing. This is a month when your partner's business, marriage, otherwise, might be very friendly and be feeling very social. They might introduce you to a larger social network. They might be involved in some sort of 11th house social activism or humanitarian causes as well that benefits you in some way. This is a month where it's not really strong for romance. It's more like a comfortable friendship. Like if I was to compare a relationship that's like, wearing a stiletto heel out on a date versus curling up on the couch in your slippers with your partner. That's what it's like. It's more friendly, it's more relaxed, it's more, more of a friendship than dating and romance in a relationship. So what else we see with the 11th house lord sitting here in the 7th house is that mutual goals that you have together are really going to be what distinguishes this relationship this month. It is about working together on a common goal, on a common project, on a common aspiration that you have with your partner. And if you feel like you have no common goals, no aspirations that you share with your partner, then I'd encourage you to explore doing that, finding something that you can share common ground on and have some sort of common purpose with in some way. So that would be my analysis of the 11th house lord in the 7th. Now for my Patreon family, we're going to move into looking at 4th house lord, which is also Venus, in the 7th. If you are on YouTube and you would like to find out more about this prediction, then jump over to my Patreon page and join up. If not, we're going to move to the next sign for my YouTube family. Leo rising, Leo sun, Leo moon people. Well, we're looking this week at the energy of Venus moving through Capricorn, which is your 6th house. And this is going to last from the 10th of December until the 3rd of January. Now you'll notice, Leo, that Venus in the chart rules both Libra, your 3rd house, and also Taurus, your 10th house. For my YouTube family, I'm going to be exploring the 10th house lord, Venus is the ruler of Taurus, being in the 6th house and what that means. And then for my Patreon family, I'm going to take it a bit further and we're going to be exploring Venus is the ruler of the 3rd house in the 6th house to get an extended forecast. So if you want to join Patreon for the extended forecast, I'll see you over there. But for now, let's look at the 10th house lord in the 6th. This is a combination that says for the next month, you're going to be in somehow working in the service of others. So that might be that, you're helping the poor in some way, or the uneducated or the sick. Maybe you're helping sort out some conflicts. That could be a physical conflict or a mental or an emotional conflict in your sphere in some way. You really kind of have a mission to serve, to help, to heal, to fix this month, my Leo friends. So it's very much the focus is on helping. The 6th house is never an easy placement, but when we have the 10th house lord in the 6th, it's really good for being able to competently fix problems for others, to move in and take a place of authority that helps sort things out. And that'll be you taking a leadership position with problems. And so maybe these problems have been in the lives of others for ages, or maybe they've been in your life for ages. But when Venus moves into Capricorn, you're going to be like, I'm going to fix this. We need to do this. Let's go, kind of thing. You'll take over. You'll take control, Leo. So very, very helpful. If you are in some sort of a career, like maybe you're a distinguished doctor or a lawyer who sorts out issues for other people, or town planner or something where you're, it's a high level kind of career where you're sorting out issues and problems for other people, then if you're in those fields, you're going to have a flourishing in your career. It's going to really kind of go your way, and things can blossom for you in those industries. You could even find that over the next month take on or become more of a leader in those realms of making unhealthy things well again. Conflict management, literal health and wellness, general fixing of imbalanced situations in people's lives. Now, I want you to know, Leo, and you might struggle with this because I'm a Leo sun and I know how this goes. When we've got the 10th house lord, either natally or in this case by transit, moving through the 6th house, we find that the people we're giving our service to don't necessarily be very appreciative. They don't give much gratitude or recognition. And sometimes we can even receive criticism, 6th house, for our high level offering of help and work. So don't look for accolades, Leo, because you'll be disappointed. And if you get accolades, just, delight in that, recognize, hey, that's really cool, but don't be looking for it because you could end up being disappointed, okay? Just do your service for the sake of serving, burning karma, and being a contributor of good vibe, good juju on the earth. Now, 6th house can also represent that there's a lot of bickering and difficulties in your workplace this month, okay? Heads up on that one. So it's not really also a helpful month for career promotion or recognition. It's more about getting down and dirty with it, like doing the hard yards, doing the work, just head down, tail up, let's get on with the job. So I really want you to take good care of your health, Leo, as well, because overwork and workaholism, which can be seen by this combination, can lead to burnout, job stress, and health issues. So do honor yourself and don't overdo it, my beautiful Leo friends. Take good care of your health. Take some time out for you. Humility, Leo, is very important. It is a very important characteristic to harness with this position. If we're self-seeking in our career over the next month while Venus is in this placement, it's only going to cause us problems. Whereas if we take the opposite approach, we're going to be rewarded at a heart level, feeling satisfied within. This month, career is not about stroking your ego while Venus is here, Leo. And I know that's hard for Leo people to hear because we thrive on that. We need that. We love that stuff, don't we, Leo? So we're going to have to sort of toughen up a bit regarding that sort of thing and just hear Kesenya's voice saying, okay, this isn't the month for getting the rewards or the recognition or anything. I'm just going to push through it and just do the right thing, humble, integrous, going to do my work. Keep that attitude in mind, my beautiful Leo friends. Now, The good news is that this is the 9th house from the 10th. Here's the 10th house. Venus rules the 10th house, and we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and we get to where Venus is going to be transiting. So this is telling us that you are really going to, 9th house, grow your knowledge of your work through this service, through this humble attitude. You're going to really grow your knowledge. You might even gain, fabulous new skills that can really propel you into like a specialization when Venus moves into Aquarius and is then in the 10th house from the 10th. So there's a learning process at play here for my beautiful Leo friends. See that as the benefit, see that as the gain. Know that you're going to learn and grow through this experience, and just keep on serving, okay? Now, the ruler of the 10th house shows also, in this case, our bosses and the authority figures in our life. And here in the 6th house, it actually represents people with, I'll use the term less than us, so less education, less money, less advantages, and so on. It's the people who have less than. So your bosses, 10th house lord moving by transit through the 6th, might be less qualified than you this month, or less skillful than you, or do something that's far less intelligent than what you would have done in the same situation. Of course, this can be incredibly infuriating. So remember, remain humble and know that this is a learning experience. Push through it and come out the other side into greater career empowerment, let's say. So I'm going to leave it there for my YouTube Leo friends, and now I'm going to move into Patreon to talk about Libra, ruled by Venus, Libra, Lord of the 3rd house in the 6th. Virgo rising, Virgo sun, Virgo moon people. The energy of Venus's transit through Capricorn will be felt by you guys down here in the 5th house. What a blessing. I mean, for Virgo people, Venus is your wealth indicator in Vedic astrology. So from the 10th of December through to the 3rd of January, this wealth indicator is in one of the blessing houses. So Virgo people have got it going on this month. But I'm going to talk now for my YouTube people about Venus's rulership of the 2nd house, Libra, in a transit through the 5th house. Then I'm going to move into a greater analysis that is for my Patreon members alone, where I'm looking at Venus as the ruler of the 9th house Lord in the 5th. And you can find out more about what's happening for you in the month ahead with that reading on the Patreon channel if you'd like to join. But let's begin. 2nd house Lord in the 5th house. Well, this is what we call a wealth yoga, wealth combination, and it's going to bring up in your life the results of some good deeds that you've done either early in this lifetime or maybe in past lifetimes. So maybe, I don't know, you donated as a young 20-something-year-old, you donated a heap of money to a worthy cause. And it's like, there's a Bible verse that says, cast your bread upon the water and in certain amount of days it will come back to you. Well, this is the bread coming back to you, but it's actually coming back. I don't know how this happens in reality, but the bread is multiplied, like Jesus breaking the bread for the 5,000 people. It's just multiplied in abundance because of some kindly deed or act you did in earlier in life or in a past life or something. It's coming back to you now during this transit for the next month. Money could be made through 5th house means with the 2nd house Lord here in the 5th house. That might mean gambling, games of chance. Money can also be made through investing in your children, 5th house, or their ideas and their dreams. So invest in your children. It will pay off. Look, there could be a lot of expenses with your children, but again, we've got this idea of casting your bread upon the water and it will come back to you. Like, it might be expensive with your kids right now, but ultimately what you invest in your children, 2nd house investment in your children, 5th house, is going to reap dividends for you at some point in your life. Again, the good karma comes back. So it's worth investing in your children if you can over the next month. You can also capitalize on your hobbies. Invest in your passions, you'll see the results. Hold that art exhibition. Join that theatre group. There's going to be rewards that come your way from that. You could invest in entertainment as well. Invest in a theatre, invest in a bar, invest in the film industry, or invest in some sort of performers and back them or something, because this is what we invest in. And in the next month, investing in those performance industries or entertainment industries could wind up being lucrative for you. Politics, if you're into it, could also be a source of positive investment for you over the month ahead. So any creative imagination, using your own originality, your God-given talents, your self-expression can be very lucrative for you. Again, I would encourage you, if you've been doubting whether you should or shouldn't go down a certain creative route, this is a sign that you should be. If you're somebody who's involved in events management, this is a really great month ahead for you. Of course, it's Christmas and New Year. Of course, it's going to be great. But the planets are aligning as well. So creating fun, festive events is a really good money spinner over the next month for Virgo people. That could be a music festival, a winery tour, vintage festival, Comic-Con. I mean, you name it. It's time to get festive. You can also make money through offering some sort of dating service to the world over the next month. That might be, you offer some sort of introduction style event like a masquerade ball, or hosting a meet-up dinner for singles or something like that. If you are the host and, buy this, $50 a ticket or whatever, and lo and behold, you make money, you do really well out of that kind of thing. You will be quite genius, my Virgo friends, at knowing where to invest and direct your finances as well. So trust your hunches, trust your intuition this month. This is your financial indicator, and it's in one of the best houses to be in for financial gain. So, it won't lead you astray. You'll be feeling quite sentimental regarding anything, I think, to do with entertainment as well with this combination. So that could be, anything glamorous, anything to do with performance, politics, or festivities. So you might keep a cinema ticket from a date you went on, or music festival tickets, or, you might keep your Christmas bonbon token because it was a really great family Christmas or something. You'll be feeling sentimental about your festivities and all those things, those entertainments that I just described. So thank you, my YouTube family. Now I'm going to switch over to my Patreon analysis of your ninth house lord in the fifth, which is an awesome combination to be experiencing this month. And for my YouTube family, we're going to click over to the next sign. Libra rising, Libra sun, Libra moon people. The energy of transiting Venus is moving through Capricorn, your fourth house. And this is happening from the 10th of December through to the 3rd of January. But I'm going to be talking here on this YouTube video about Venus ruling your first house. So first house lord in the fourth house. What does that mean for the next month ahead? Then on my Patreon page, my Patreon family video for this week, I'm going to be talking about the other house that Venus rules, which is the 8th house, Taurus. 8th house lord in the 4th house, and what that means. So you're going to get an extended reading if you're a Patreon member. All right, let's kick it off with the first house lord in the 4th for a Libra rising person. This means that this month, while Venus is in this sign, there's going to be a big focus on raising a family, taking care of your family, or investing in your family lineage in some important way. And of course, it's Christmas. Often we connect with family at Christmas. So there is this big focus on that naturally because of this combination. A connection to land and property is also seen here, my Libran friends. So you might be dealing a lot with a real estate agent or a land developer or something, or you might be dealing with a farmer. Farmers are seen through the 4th house as well, and they deal with the land, obviously. So there might be a lot of interactions with the farmer. I mean, look, here's a perfect example. It's Christmas coming. You might want fresh cherries from the farmer down the road, so you go and make a deal. Hey, I'm going to want a box of your cherries for Christmas Day, how much? And so you're interacting with people who deal with land and property. So it could be that you're buying a house, real estate agent, or just that you're dealing with somebody, in a significant way like you wouldn't ordinarily do, who is involved with the land in some manner. Now, the same also applies to any caring occupations. So you might find yourself voluntarily working with some sort of childcare situation or nurturing situation. You might be very invested in family caring and nurturing. Maybe you've got a few nieces and nephews coming to stay for the summer holidays here in Australia or something, so you're doing some caring while your sibling goes to work or whatever. That could be the case. Of course, there's many various ways that can express, but definitely caring and nurturing is a big part of the month ahead for you too. This position, first house lord in the 4th, actually makes us feel very patriotic. You know, you might suddenly experience something that gives you a great sense of pride in your country or your culture, or even the community you grew up in. I've got to say, every time I watch the movie Crocodile Dundee, I'm like, I love being Australian, you know, when I see that movie, because it's everything we love about Australianisms, especially rural Australia, where I come from. So I love that, you know. So it could just be that you watch a film that makes you feel really patriotic, or you go to a community Christmas event or New Year event and you're like, God, I love this community. It's so fantastic here. So there's this energy of patriotism that might be prominent in the month ahead as well. You might be feeling very strongly identified with your cultural roots, your family roots, or your traditions. Of course, it's that time of year. How perfect is the astrology? So you might be also researching or very interested in things that come from underground. You might be buying some crystals or minerals or precious stones or something, you know, buying yourself a flashy new ring for Christmas or something. But there might be some influence of the things that we extract from underground. Anything from underground is a fourth house topic. The physical home is also going to be very important in the month ahead as well. Venus here might make you think, you know what, I want to beautify my home. I want to put lots of lovely things in it. I want to, you know, freshen up my garden with some new plants, or bring in some lovely new candles into my lounge room or something like that. You know, decorate beautifully my Christmas decorations in my home. So Venus makes you want to beautify your home as well. Physical home is important under this transit. Okay, Librans, now I'm going to leave it here for you on YouTube and move into our Patreon family. My YouTube followers, we're going to jump right into the next sign. All right, now we're moving on to Scorpio. Scorpio rising, sun or moon people. Well, the energy of Venus moving through Capricorn is, of course, falling for you in your third house. But Venus actually rules your 12th house, Libra, and it also rules your 7th house, Taurus. So what I'm going to be doing for YouTube is talking about the transit of Venus as the 12th house lord in the 3rd house and what that will bring you. For my Patreon family, I'm going to add to that, and I'm going to talk about Venus as the 7th house lord moving through for the next month from the 10th of December to the 3rd of January, moving through the 3rd house. So if you want to join the Patreon family for the full extended version of this reading, I'll see you there. But let's go with the YouTube version for now. 12th house lord in the 3rd means that you might be being very inspired this month while Venus is here, my beautiful Scorpio friends, to write or speak or communicate about some sort of international travel, international trade, foreign matters, art, music, film, poetry, 12th house things really on your mind. You're wanting to express about them. You might receive some messages from the divine in your dreams. So have a dream book by the bed. Pay attention to what you're dreaming about. I don't dream anymore. I used to dream so much when I was a kid. I cannot remember the last time I had a significant dream. Interesting. But there might be, for our Scorpio people, I'm not Scorpio, so that's probably why. There might be messages, prophetic messages coming through to you in your dreams. If you get the impulse, do take the time to write about past lives or to write about fantasy or write something poetic, because it's possible that the divine is wanting to channel something through you. Could be anything mystical, mysterious, anything that touches on themes of other entities or people who are living in places of isolation. You might be wanting to communicate about that or think about that or write about that. You might get an inspiration for a story about those topics. And if you do, listen to it and follow through with it, because it will be divinely inspired. You might be wanting to communicate about some sort of visionary ideal that you have, spiritual insights that you have. You might want to write a book about those things or a blog about those things. You might be wanting to, share your insights with the world now, and why not? This is a great energy for doing that. It's a really good energy for setting up a website or a blog or something where you share those visionary insights. It is a position that can leave you or can cause you to sort of get channeled information, but look, that can be very draining if that's happening. So just know that if you are doing channel writing or something, you're going to need your rest. It could be that the ancestors or the spirits are utilizing you as an instrument to communicate through. And that often leaves us feeling exhausted. So pace yourself. If you do those types of things, take a break, go on an escape retreat from the mental chatter. that can also come through with that kind of work if you're into that sort of thing, and not everybody is. Third house is an area where we do need to be careful of, because it can be an indicator for mental illness with the 12th house Lord here. The third house rules the mind. And with the 12th house Lord here, we might be, we need to watch out for being obsessive and having thoughts running on a loop, thoughts that are not our own. Could even be thoughts that are coming from other entities or from past lives or something. And we're just running with these thoughts that are not helping us in this lifetime. It can lead to mental exhaustion. So there is a need to learn over the next month to switch off the monkey mind, to learn to meditate, do yoga, mindfulness, breath work. These are all helpful. So I would encourage you, Scorpio, if you haven't done so already, get involved in those sorts of things to help ease the monkey mind. This is also an indication that you can sometimes get your facts wrong or misunderstand something. This will happen over the next month. You might misinterpret something or distort the facts. Someone says, hey, let's meet at 12 o'clock down at the pub, and you're like, you rock up there, it's 5 o'clock and nobody's there, and you're like, hang on, what? So make sure you get your facts straight, because under this influence you can be a bit foggy about the facts. Okay, your words can also be twisted under this energy, so make sure what you communicate is clear. The 12th house blurs the boundary of what is truthful through fogginess, mistiness, lack of clarity. So make sure people understand any messages that you're trying to impart. You might also feel that you're a bit out of control with things that are controlling your day. So look, this is the divine or the ancestor spirits or the spirit guides messing up your day, so to speak. And if this happens, don't be perturbed, don't be alarmed, because it can be beneficial if you start to see magical things happening. Your plans fall apart, but something else wonderful eventuates instead, because the divine is controlling what happens. So don't be surprised, my beautiful Scorpio people, if your daily routine's a little bit out of whack. Go with the flow. Allow it to happen, because you might be being steered in the right direction through what happens throughout your day. Now also, I just need to talk about draining of vitality. Wherever the 12th house Lord is can be a drain on our vitality. And so it's third house things, too much chit chat without any depth. I mean, Scorpio people hate that anyway. Administration work, too many business meetings, and you'll be like, oh my God, I've just got no energy for this. I've had enough. It's draining your vitality. 12th house Lord in the third. Third house is the need to plan our life, to organize and structure our life. And with the 12th house Lord here, as I've said, you could get things wrong, but you could miss details. You could be confused about plans. You could find it difficult to be present in your day-to-day administrative activities. So forewarned, forearmed, that one, it's only going to last a month and then it's done, okay? This is also the house of the siblings. So the 12th house Lord here can indicate that your siblings might be having spiritual experiences in the next month, or be being very creative, or they might go on a holiday, or overseas, or they might be somehow involved in the travel industry, or maybe they're in a place of isolation in some way for the next month or so. Maybe they're working in an artist studio, or they go to an ashram. Maybe they're involved in serving at a prison or something, or they decide they're going to do some work in a hospital. 12th house things for siblings. 12th house Lord in the third can indicate absent-mindedness, so watch out for feelings of sadness, watch out for feelings also of negativity. Instead, I just encourage you, my Scorpio friends, to focus on creative expression, poetry, film, fantasy, spirituality as a support mechanism during this transit too. Just something to note, kleptomania is often seen with this combination. So you could exhibit this yourself. You might just find, I'll just take that there because it looks nice or whatever, and kleptomania. Or you might encounter somebody else who has this tendency, okay? So if that appears on the horizon, well, you'll know it's coming from this Venus 12th house Lord in the third energy. Okay, now for my YouTube people, you're going to carry on with the next sign. And for my Patreon family, we're going to go to an analysis of the 7th house Lord in the third. Well, the energy for Sagittarius that we're exploring this week is Venus's transit through their second house, Capricorn. But I'm going to be talking on YouTube about the fact that Venus actually rules the 11th house, Libra. 11th house Lord in the second. What does that mean, and what might it bring you in the month ahead while Venus transits here from the 10th of December to the 3rd of January? Then for my Patreon friends, we're going to be exploring what it means to have the 6th house Lord transiting the 2nd house. And that's a very, very interesting combination. So that's for my Patreon family. They're going to get an extended forecast astrologically for the month ahead regarding Venus's transit. So let's dive into the YouTube version, which is the 11th house Lord in the 2nd. This is where this month you're going to be able to profit, achieve, and gain. This is actually a blessed combination, not so much what I'm going to talk about for the Patreon family, but this is a blessed combination that is known as a wealth yoga or wealth combination, because the house of gains is going, this 11th house Lord, going into the house of money. So for the next month, it's about being gainful financially. How lovely for Sagittarius people. They have had a rough trot in recent times, so this could be just the blessing they've been waiting for. So some of the things you might look to make money from while the 11th house Lord transits the 2nd is any investments in collecting things. That could be antiques, stamps, books, art. You're going to know this month, intuition's going to be on point, Sagittarius, about what society either needs or finds aesthetically appealing, and therefore what's worth investing in. So trust your instincts this month about investing in those sort of collections and things. Currencies are seen from the 2nd house. So this is about handling money, managing money, investing monetarily in currencies that can be very profitable for you. So, shuffling bank accounts around and that kind of thing, or, buying foreign money and foreign exchange. Like, if you're into that sort of thing, this is a great month while Venus is here for seeing that flourish in your life. Farming and agriculture sometimes has to do, especially in the Vedic system, with the 2nd house. So anything to do with agriculture can bring you money. And with the planet being Venus here, it might be growing something sweet. I don't know, maybe you grow sugarcane and you can make a lot of money out of that this month. Maybe you grow flowers. Venus rules flowers. And so maybe you can, be successful by selling flowers at a market or something like that. Maybe you grow, have your own honeybees. That is ruled by Venus too, because honey is sweet. And so you might be making some sort of success financially through some farming venture like honey. Anything that is sweet is Venus. So, if you are growing something sweet, like could be some fruits or something like that, then this is your month to have some success and lucrative rewards for what you're doing. The 2nd house has to do with the face, the mouth. It has to do with things like makeup, hairdressing, hair products, dentistry, the beauty industry, the fashion industry, retail industry in general also. And so this is where you can be making money, especially if you're working in those fields already, or maybe you invest in those fields, in those industries. That could be really fantastic. 2nd house is using our voice for something. It could be hosting a radio show. It could be singing. It could be, working at a call center. Well, those things can be very lucrative for you, while the 11th house Lord transits through the 2nd house. I keep saying the 3rd house. I don't know why. My apologies. Art and collections of art, creation of art, all seen through the 2nd house. So worthwhile investing in that. Could be very rewarding and gainful for you. And it's also a placement where you might receive some sort of profits from the family, handed down gains that can come to you. Maybe a property that you receive, or a family business opportunity. Maybe, your dad's collection of first edition novels or something like that you receive. Collections and handed down gains in the Vedic system are seen here. So could be quite gainful if you're dealing with any of those types of things in the month ahead, my beautiful Sagittarian friends. Now, this is where I'm going to leave things for my YouTube family and wish you all the love in the world for the week ahead while Venus transits Capricorn. For my Patreon family, we are now going to move into looking at the 6th house Lord transiting through the 2nd.